Oh, um, yeah, I'm just gonna continue vlogging. I feel like I'm about 10 years too late to this for it to matter to anyone, but whatever. Um, uh, I consistently have this need to go for a walk. I know it's almost like I'm a dog of sorts, but um, I don't belong to a gym. I haven't joined a judo dojo yet, since I've been back in America. But I know myself, and I think that's probably one of the keys to even coming close to taking care of yourself is knowing what you need in life, just to get by. And I feel like I need exercise. I know it sounds strange to say because it's you think, well, no, duh, but it's true. I don't know about the whole science behind whether or not you know endorphins or what is it, dopamine or anything like that. I don't know, but I do know the result of things, and I just feel better. The rest of my day feels a little bit better when I have a walk. Part of it is I do feel like I've exercised. Also, I feel like I've done something with my day, even if it's just a walk. I also do make my bed. I know this is stuff that your mom was trying to get you to do when you were like 6, but uh, an hour's worth of mild exercise and making your bed is a good way to start the day, or at least a good accomplishment for the day, even if you don't start your day off that way. I find that since I've been down here at my parents' house, my sleeping schedule is all out of whack. I think because when I'm at my home in Philadelphia, I kind of tried to keep to my wife's schedule, and it's very 9 to 5 more or less, maybe a little bit more 8 to 4 for her. And so I try to keep to that schedule. It keeps me a little bit more sane. But like here, my dad has very strange sleeping schedule, which is not really scheduled at all. He's retired, and I think he has difficulty sleeping, so he sleeps in fit. So he's always up, or, up at all hours of night, sleeping in the afternoon. It's very strange. Um, Tried to get him to go to a doctor about that. So he was seeing one on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, so um, it's worse than trying to keep a child on a schedule because children kind of take your lead naturally. Your parents, I don't think you could ever lead your parents properly. Um, you can maybe play some psychological tricks on them, but it's exhausting. Anyway, so on my walk, I just walked around the neighborhood a little bit, just for an hour. It's a nice enough day, it's about 50, low 50s, so I just wore a sweater and like a light jacket, and I saw this fella. I was walking by his school. Uh, I saw this fella with his dog. He must have been in his 60s. He looked kind of like what Barry Garcia looked like, just kind of shaggy hair, completely white beard, but kind of, like just a hippie who just went gray and then white. Walking his dog. He's going, "What's going on, man?" Like very, I wouldn't say hippie-ish, but I'm not used to people of a generation older than me than saying like that. So who knows? And it was genuine. He wasn't, having fun with me. And I said, "Oh, I'm not that here." So it was something like, "How's it going? How's it going, man?" And I said, "Not bad." And I always, this is a bit of a pet peeve of mine. If you ask me how I am, I will answer, and I always answer with a question. I never really say, "Oh, my life's falling apart at the seams," and how's your day going there, bud? And never really, just like, "Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?" And I don't like it when people don't respond. Um, just say hello. That's all. But anyway, I did. I knew not to be offended by it. It's just kind of some kind of thing that if you're going to ask me a question, at least stick around for the answer. The answer. And if the answer is a question itself, then you have to pretty much engage with it, even if you kind of stop and say, "Yeah, not bad," and then keep walking. That's just me. Most people are not like that. In England, they won't say "What's up" or "How's it going." They'll say "You right?" So you're northern, "You right there, but not very good northern accent, but "You right?" That kind of thing. And it's both. It's a question that never gets answered. Like, "How are you doing?" And I often found that like the British people, they would get angry. Like, "Why do you say how you doing?" I said, "Well, you say all right." So it's kind of the same thing. You're not really sticking around for the answer. It's just a formality. I've heard that the Chinese will say, "Have you eaten yet?" I don't know what that has to do with anything, but yes, I have. Thank you. Thank you for your concern about my eating. But anyway, so I walked around and I did kind of a big loop. I went down the street, down the hill, around, and there's sort of like a shopping area, and I went back up the hill in a different direction. And I ran into him on the way up, and I said, it's just like, "Oh, here's this guy again." So I just said something like, "Oh, hello again," that kind of thing, and he smiled and he kept on going. And I found it's interesting to see that like somebody on the same that your paths have crossed twice on 1 hour long walk, and I find myself kind of talking to myself while I'm on a walk, not in a full on conversation or anything like that. I'm trying to sound out things in my head, and sometimes they have to be said for them to be analyzed. And they're not always gems, but sometimes they are, or at least they're not completely crazy. But it's nice to have time to think about things. There's an expression that was in Latin. I'll look it up it was called solvitar. I know this does not make for a good video. Solvitar ambulando. So that means solvitar means it is solved. Ambulando is by walking, and basically it's sort of you could say a sort of just I'll just give you my own version of what it means. Is that I think walking changes things. Changing, not only does it change you're sitting down thinking about something. You have to. This is something that might come up in a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. If you've ever read it, it's a fascinating book. It's a very interesting way of viewing the world. That when you have when you're talking to somebody and you're walking, let's say you're telling a story, you can continue to walk. And then somebody asks you, "Well, what's 27 minus 13?" Or maybe something a little bit more complicated. But something you could do in your head. What's 17 times 8? And you're walking, you might have to stop because you have to focus all of your energy on that one problem. That walking is just too much for you. But so there are certain types there's slow thinking where you have to be very deliberate and very methodical about things, and other things are they just kind of flow off your tongue, and so you can just walk and talk and not really have to think about walking, or walking doesn't take up too much of your mind. So one of the things that I find interesting is to walk and talk, and perhaps nothing too complex where you have to stop. You see that with people who are often on their phones and they will walk and type something out, which I hate. And if you're on a small pavement, maybe only a few feet wide, you have to watch them. I mean, and I try not to be too nasty, but one guy walked right into me, and he got lippy with me. And I thought, what the fuck is wrong with you? Excuse my French, but like, you have run into me. And I was sort of, when you look at somebody who's going this, they're sort of meandering. You don't know how to play it. I thought, well, you owe me the responsibility of at least not running into me. I'm not going to pretend like I have any say in your, what you're doing while you're walking, but please at least don't run into me. And, at least if you're going to be on your phone, texting, whatever, walking down the street, you're going to have to pull over to the side. I don't know. And there's something to be said for just getting away from your phone. Unless I am expecting a phone call or an email or a text, I don't actually take my phone with me. I've actually tried to. You have to be very firm with yourself and be very, you have to follow rules. Saying, I will put my phone away when I'm with my wife. One of the rules that I have is I don't take when I'm at home, not at my parents' house, I don't put my phone in my room, the bedroom. My wife does because she's got an alarm on it. She's got an alarm set for every 5 minutes in case the one doesn't work. It'll probably wake me up. Or if that one doesn't, 5 minutes from now, and 5 minutes from now, and 5 minutes from now. And it's interesting. I think she's running out of alarms on the phone. Anyway, I don't have the phone upstairs just because I don't. If you, it's not a question of willpower. It's more about a question of putting yourself in a situation where you won't. Willpower is not even. It's not even on the table. What would people be like? Would have been like in the 18th century with cell phones? Well, it's not a question you really have to ask because it's not a problem. They didn't have them. It was not something that they had the option to do. And now, knowing human behavior, that they probably would have been just as addicted as people are today. So, if you can put yourself into the 17th century or 18th century, what did I say? Amounts to the same thing, really. Then you don't have to worry about temptation of doing something that you don't want to do. You kind of have to set traps for yourself. And so having sort of a rule-based thing, you like in the case of me, where I don't have a phone in my room, I can't look stuff up. I'm not a social media person. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I try to stay away from it because people have a lot of, let's just say, stupid takes on things. And there are a lot of things going on. So there are lots of stupid takes on lots of different things. And I've just learned to stay away from that. And it's not because I'm smarter or I have stronger willpower. I have found ways not to participate in that. It's not like I'm a better person. It's just that I've decided that I'm not going to do that because I've seen the effect it has on people. I've seen the effect it's had on me. I don't like it, and I find a way out of it. And I think that's a very healthy thing, and I wish more people would not just set boundaries that can easily be crossed, but I mean set boundaries that you can't cross because you physically don't have your phone with you or the internet or anything like that. The bedroom's for sleeping, and your phone is for texting your wife, can you grab some milk on the way home? Or, she wants to say, well, I'm going to be a little late, so don't bother putting dinner in the oven yet, that kind of thing. And, but anything more than that, I think is, it's almost like the way the phone was, when earlier, before texting, is like, I don't think my parents talked to each other very much throughout the day, unless they had little things like, can you grab some milk, or can you, you know, pick me up? The car broke down, that kind of thing. More about the modern conveniences that the phone gives you, but rather than like the addiction. Um, I think you do have to set traps for yourself. So it's like not a technology trap, but a lack of technology trap that you should set for yourself. And I've sort of tried to put that into my life. And when I'm down here in Virginia, it comes completely off the rails. I don't have, because I'm not in control of my environment. Um, and I just feel like it's not my place to do certain things around here. So I'm going fucking nuts down here. I'm not usually a control freak, but if I can't control the direction of my life, which means I can't control, which ultimately comes from the idea that I can't control my own behavior, um, it's very distressing to me that I can't be in control of things, of my own life. I don't like other people controlling my life. I don't like being helpless. I don't like being useless. I don't like being subject to other people's wills and whims. That to me is like hell. Um, it makes you feel like a child or an old person where you just rely on other people. I like my independence, and so being at other people's mercy is not a fun thing. With that said, I feel, I was thinking about this on the walk, is that essentially I don't know when the right time to leave here is. My dad is going to the doctor on Thursday about his foot. He has some problem with his foot. It's making his life hell. I've seen him try to go up and down the stairs. We have a townhome here where the basement was where I am right now. There's a bathroom, a bedroom, and a sort of living room. You go upstairs, there's a kitchen, a dining room, a living room. If you go upstairs from there, there are 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and then there's an attic above that. So it's 1, 2, 3, technically 4 levels, but who goes up in the attic except for having stuff. And he has trouble getting up and down. So he's mostly on the ground level, but there's no toilet on the ground level. So that makes things a little bit more difficult for him. It's so sad to see him because he used to be actually a quite fit man, but he's had trouble with his legs. I think it has something to do with nerves rather than bones or muscle or tendons or anything like that. So, and I'm not dumping on the medical industry, but got a lot of work to do about nerves because they don't know what's going on, and everybody has a different problem. So I think the term is idiopathic, where they don't know what's going on with you. Your problem is so specific to you that any research into it is only going to solve your problem, if they can even do that. Well, anyway, so I don't know when to leave here. It's I don't want to abandon him because he has to drive up to Maryland. It's about a 45-minute drive. Go see Mom. Mom has not been making progress. Don't ever do Kaiser for old people. Kaiser Permanente is with the insurance and HMO that they're on. It was fine when they were healthy. It was great when they were healthy, but they treat old people like shit. There's no other way to say it. It's just the way they have conducted themselves is absolutely a shame. I now understand the impulse to get away from these sorts of HMOs in the healthcare industry. I'm not a very single payer. I'm not a backer of that. But I don't know that there is a perfect solution to this problem. You just create different problems when you change systems. So it's just, well, whatever it is, it's like an absolute crime what they're doing to my mom, and I fear for the worst. I think they might end up killing her. Maybe not directly, but they're not doing the thing that they said they would do. And they put you in a maze, a bureaucratic maze, and then they give you a timeline. You have 24 hours to get out of this maze, and we're not answering phones or answering emails, or you're not allowed to show up here because coronavirus. You know, they must fucking love that. That's another way to throw roadblocks in your way is coronavirus. Anybody who doesn't want to do work, they can always put that on. I remember when I was younger, and if you were late to work, you could always say, "Oh, the alarm clock, the power went out." Well, the power grid's not that bad anymore, or you have a phone, you could always set that up, or you could have a clock with batteries, or before you had cell phones, you say, "I didn't get that message, I didn't get that email," because you had email at work, right? Now you can get emails at home. You can't rely on those excuses. But when you start providing people with new excuses, you get worse results. So anyway, I don't know when to leave because I don't want to leave him high and dry, but I'm going nuts here. And I don't know that I'm actually doing anything. I know that my presence here is probably good for morale for her. But it's driving me nuts. And being away from my wife and my animals is just driving me nuts. And I find myself to be very moralized in the sense of just completely just apathetic and towards my own life because I can't do anything. When you can't do anything, you just sort of, well, I guess I won't do anything. When I'm at home, I feel like a little bit more like of a spark in my life. I have like a little more energy, at least putting things towards a future that I'd like to have. So here I just feel like I'm just sort of sitting here. Like, almost as if the whole world's just sort of, there's a giant blizzard every single day and you really can't do too much. So you just sit around watching TV. I've been trying not to because it's just not healthy. But on the other hand, I don't want to watch stuff about Ukraine or Russia. I don't want to watch stuff on the internet about it. So I end up watching like sports, hockey and basketball is basically all I watch on TV nowadays. My dad watches a lot of The Big Bang Theory. It's average, it's okay, but it's definitely better than anything else on TV. And no wonder people are cutting their cable because there's nothing on TV other than sports and reruns of The Big Bang Theory, which get old. Yeah. So this is a little bit better than the last video, but I basically I have to make a decision to leave here, and I don't want to leave my dad in the lurch as far as taking care of Mom, although we're not really taking care of her, we're just visiting her, and she's pretty far away. So, well, watch this space, and I'll have an update. So, I'll see you soon.